But yeah, this one says designing and implementing materials on quantum computing for secondary school students. And then I don't know if this is necessary. It says the case of teleportation. I think we already know what the, that it exists. But anyway,
It is in
it's like
Italy,
high
okay.
school, right? High school for US.
Designing and implementing material. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense. We've discussed that quantum computers is gonna it's gonna be present in our daily life in the future. So it just makes sense to start education at a certain time. So
and then
children are scary. This reminds me of an article I read a while back about this 11-year-old girl who was doing chemistry in her bedroom. Her parents had no idea what she was up to. She was kind of an introvert, but she figured out a way to extract polymers from banana peels. 11-year-old. I mean,
I'm a chemist, Ron. So
I won't be surprised if some 11-year-old pops up with some quantum computing.
Well, about the new wave. Anisha Musty, is it? Am I saying that right? There's a whole wave, and actually a lot of this stuff is easier for children because like we're taught like common sense and like you can't take something from here to here without it traveling. So everything's kind of different in quantum, and kids that are taught this, they pick up like a sponge because they haven't been taught graduate level physics and all this stuff where it's like this is a law of nature, or it doesn't quite teach them the quantum aspect of things. But I thought this article was interesting. I see a lot like this. So this is Science Daily, and towards a quantum computer that calculates, obviously it says towards, so but it's interesting because this is the whole kind of like we need a million qubits kind of thing, for true quantum simulation of doing reactions inside of a computer instead of like a lab bench. So again, David, I want to thank you for coming on. This is episode 23, your special speaker number 15, and very educational. Yeah, very technical too. I'm touching on some of this stuff because we've run some experiments too without runtime errors, but didn't get quite the quantum advantage that we were looking for. So then now I'm planning for the next wave, and I've done stuff with like patient data that quantum can be used for basically. So any last questions for David? There's a couple of people we haven't heard from. Feel free to add in the chat. And again, if you haven't had a chance to download, it's the triple dot in the chat. Obviously, Ravi, we talked last night. I saw Nathan pop up. Every time you pop up, Nathan, I think Shore's algorithm, but it's yours is SCHOR. So close enough, huh? VJ, and obviously we've heard from Ron. Any other last comments, David?
No, thank you so much for organizing this. This is interesting, and I think this COVID kind of pushed everybody in this mode that we can meet more and more remotely, and hopefully, this is an interesting concept. I studied more what you're doing, which is interesting, to bring in more people and more experience to share with everyone. And I'm happy to in a couple months, maybe with more concept in machine learning, more focused actually session would be interesting. Yeah, I'm happy to do that at some point.
Yeah, and speaking about the next wave, next week's special speaker, De Pancha, she's a student at University of California, San Diego. She's on fire for quantum, and she's going to be talking about some of her experiences. She's had good internships at like Google and all this stuff. I've been spending more time on campus, just trying to deal with the Office of Innovation Commercialization myself. So she's going to be on to talk, and it'll be interesting because I wouldn't, it's just definitely like the next generation kind of perspective. And then we're basically booked through April. I think I have one or two in May. I'm looking also for people that would want to co-present too in May.